Hey guys, I had a company reach out to me via Instagram and asked if I would be willing to take a look at one of their products and provide some feedback. And this particular item looked rather interesting, so I decided I wanted to learn a little more about it and test it out for them. So the company is Ryflens, and this specific item, the model is GM1099. Box is rather plain, fairly generic. Some stuff from Amazon right there. But I figured we'd do a quick unboxing and then go over all the specs, features, stuff like that, and then we'll put it to test. So we got a user manual up on top here. Again, there's the model number. In here we got an Allen key, and that looks like a battery, but it's actually not. This is considered to be a screwdriver, and I'll show you what that's for in a bit. We have a magnetic charging cable, and it's a USB-A on the other end. And we have the light down in here, and that appears to be everything. So yeah, this is what they've sent me. It is a weapon light. I know I've done quite a few of these the last couple months, but it gives me good feedback to know what's good and what's not. And so you can see this danger up on here, and laser, and this is kind of why I wanted to test this. So you can see through the lens here and see that hole up there. So what's pretty unique about this model is that it actually has a green and a red laser. And all the weapon lights that I've reviewed, I've never had one that had both colors of lasers. So first impressions, just pulling it right out of the box here. I honestly wasn't exactly sure what to expect because I looked at some of their Instagram photos of it, and they also have a Facebook group. And online, the finish didn't look all that great in some of the photos, and this is actually really nice. The finish has a really nice anodization on it. It's got rubberized buttons up here. So far, everything looks good as far as that goes. The overall length is right about 2.5 inches. The height looks to be right about 1.25, and the width is right about 1 inch. And the weight is 3.1 ounces. So working around the light here, this mounting screw is what you're going to use to mount to your rail. This does not come with the individual keys for Glock, Smith & Wesson, Beretta, Picatinny. This is supposed to fit basically anything that's Glock or Picatinny. We have left and right adjustments for the laser. I don't know how well this will focus here, but we have two different lights here, buttons here, which are going to control the flashlight and the laser. We'll go over all those in a bit. On the bottom, we got up, down for the laser, and then that's the magnetic charging port. And I think that is an LED indicator. I'll have to make sure of that. So when it's charging, and then when it's fully charged, it should show you. And then the other side, we still have more light and laser controls. And again, we'll go over those in a bit. I quickly looked over the user manual, and it's actually got some pretty useful information, and it's got decent illustrations. I'll show you guys this here. This will show all the different controls and the things that are possible to do with it. A couple other quick specs is that it is constructed out of all aluminum. It has an IPX4 waterproof rating. And probably the most important specs is 800 lumens and 16,000 candela. And that's actually the really important number. And whenever I do the testing here later, I'll try to do the same spots that I always do all the lights at. The candela is really what's important on a weapon light. Typically, the higher the number, the more focused in that beam is, and that's super important. So let's go over the operation of the light. And I'll be upfront honest, it's a little bit too much. I'm not gonna say it's confusing, but you want a weapon light to be pretty simple. So we have red laser and flashlight on this side. We have green laser and flashlight on this side, which sounds simple enough. So if I want the red laser, I simply hit that, and now I've got a red laser. All right. If I want the green laser, I hit this side, and now I have green laser. And they're both very, very bright. But let's say I want flashlight now. And you can see this is insanely bright. It's a really nice beam on it. All right, so if I now want to add the laser to it, I have to come up here, and this will probably be hard for the camera to pick up. Let me switch over to the green one and see if it picks that up. It's right there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the laser is definitely on with it. So now let's just say I want to shut it off, and if I shut the flashlight off, the laser stays on. So then I have to shut it off too. There's no way to have it come on where you would have light and laser with one press of a button. So I kind of dislike that. It also has a strobe feature. I'll show you this. So here's a strobe warning. So basically you're going to hold down on the flashlight part for 3 seconds. And then it's a constant rate strobe. And that is actually really nice. And you can also have the strobe with the lasers. So I'll show you the green here. I'll probably pick up better. And finally, you can also have both lasers on at the same time. Not exactly sure what benefit that gives you, but you can do it. So you've got green laser, and then if you watch the color of it, it'll change just ever so slightly here. See that change? So now I've got the red and green both on, and I'll turn the red back off so you'll see the change again. So that just changed. One other thing I did want to point out, like if you switch that over or if you use strobe, it stays in strobe until you switch it back to the regular flashlight. So if I just turn this on now, again, strobe warning, it's going to come on in the strobe. So what I have to do is basically hold that for the 3 seconds and then turn it back to the flashlight. So now I've got flashlight mode. It does not have a momentary feature on the flashlight. Like you can't just press and hold, and when you're done, let off, because if you press and hold, it takes you into the strobe mode. So I brought out a couple pistols. We'll see if it fits the little Ruger first. See, I'm all clear here. A lot of lights will not fit this little guy. This says that you have to have at least 1 inch of clearance, basically from like wherever your rail slot's going to be to wherever the trigger guard is. So this will actually go past the trigger guard, but basically from this last spot right there, let's see if I can get this in there, you're going to need at least 1 inch from there to there in order to have clearance. And so what you can do on your pistol is, take your pistol and then make sure that you have at least 1 inch. And according to this, from that last slot, I'm just over 1 inch. So the thing should be able to fit into there, but we'll see. And so yeah, you take that little, looks like a coin, and put it in there and basically loosen that thing up that way. And once you start it, you can just do it the rest with your finger. So this does in fact fit on there. It actually locks up really solid, no play, left, right, front, back. It does obviously stick out past the muzzle a little bit, probably like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or so. But it would work on a smaller gun like this. All right, I'm gonna swap this over to my Taurus and see what it looks like on there. So on that Ruger, I had to have this in the far back slot. That was the only way it could fit on the rail. It looks like, so I could do it like this here with this, and this would work just like this here. But because this has another rail slot in the front, I can move this to the middle, and it should actually fit on this one better from the middle slot. So let me get this swapped around. And again, working with a completely safe gun. All right, so I was wrong. It looks like the front one is going to give it to where it's going to slide back the farthest toward that trigger guard. So I just moved that little bolt here to a different area. And there we go. All right, I'll get this tightened on here. So this pistol is Glock 19 size. So that'll give you a reference for what it would look like. It's almost at the end of the muzzle there. That bezel right there sticks out just a little bit beyond, but overall that actually fits pretty good on there. So my first thoughts of it mounted on here is that it's not real intuitive to get to those buttons. You can almost see how like the aluminum completely surrounds them, and the buttons are completely like inset, like they are not exposed or out at all. You see that there? And so when I try to bring my finger down, I almost don't even, like I can feel the rubber there, but it's not real intuitive. So I'm gonna come onto them here. And yeah, I mean, I can get to it, but that just doesn't feel quite right. Flashlight. And then let me try my weak hand. So yeah, I mean, I can get to it. So I guess you kind of have to just maybe train a little bit more with this because it just doesn't feel quite natural. I'm sure once I do this a bunch that it will feel more normal, but I almost have to kind of find it. All right, I'm actually gonna get this thing completely charged up. We'll get some nighttime shots. I'll also get to the range with it, and then we'll come back with some final thoughts. That's what the end of that magnetic charger looks like, and it will just snap on there. I'll plug this into a USB source. Here's what the Ryflens looks like inside the house. Same room I always test in, it's 12 by 20. We'll do flashlight first. Getting the camera adjusted a little bit. Kind of a fairly big hotspot on the wall over there. All right, we'll do flashlight and green laser together. The laser's right there on the couch over there. Kind of hard to see on the wall, it almost kind of washes it out, but we'll do laser by itself. And now red laser. And flashlight with red laser. All right, here's the same corner that I usually will film at. I'm about 35 feet away from this wall. We'll see what the Ryflens look like outside. You can see the hot spot there, but again, it's a little more dispersed than what I would like, but not bad. Let's see what the laser looks like out here. So with the naked eye, I can actually see the laser the entire way there. Like the entire 35 feet, I can see a line of the laser. And then I'll switch it over to the red. All right, this corner is about 50 feet away. See what this looks like here. Again, that particular wall over there, I don't know, that's probably 18 feet, maybe 20 feet long. And the hot spot is like the whole wall. Again, I'd like that to be a little more concentrated, but it's not bad. You can see it there on the ground, going up. You see it puts off a pretty good beam. You can see that in front of it right now. So hopefully seeing those nighttime shots gives you some idea of how bright the Ryflens light is. A cell phone camera never picks up all of the actual light, so in real life it definitely appears brighter than what you see on camera. All right guys, I'll be testing out the flashlight. I will probably put about 100 rounds to it total here today, and then I'll also get the laser sighted in. Try to give you some idea here what the laser is gonna look like. We'll do the red on there first. I don't know how well that's picking up on camera. Right now I'm kind of right in the middle of my rectangle over there. All right, I'm going to switch over to the green next. That probably picks up a little bit better. It's easier for me to see anyhow. All right, it didn't appear to be any type of issues, no flickering, anything like that with that first magazine. We'll load it up and run it again. So no issues with the light through 2 magazines. I do want to get the laser sighted in next. I didn't have any issues at all at the range. No flickering, no shutting off. The laser was easy enough to sight in with that little Allen key. So let's go over some of my likes and dislikes. I like that you can charge it while the light is on the pistol. You do not have to take it off. I've had some where like the charging port is actually back here like in the trigger guard area and you have to remove it every single time. However, this cord is only a few inches long and like my wall outlets are only like a foot up off the floor. They're actually really low and this wouldn't even reach to my outlets. I had to set the gun basically up on like a little bucket or wastebasket or whatever and then charge it like, you know, from up here. So this definitely needs to be longer. I like that because of the different slots up here, you can mount this in multiple locations along a rail and even to smaller guns. I showed it earlier on that Ruger SR22. It'll also fit the Taurus G2C and some of the smaller pistols like that. And I was a little bit concerned because it just has like that bolt that goes through and not the actual key. And I thought there might be play, but there's zero movement. It locks up really solid. I think that the flashlight portion is plenty bright inside of a home. Outside, I would like it to be brighter. I wish that the hot spot was a little bit tighter. And probably my biggest complaint with it is just the buttons themselves. And it's probably a lot with just the size of my hands. You know, I wear an extra large glove. And just from where my fingers are, you know, on the gun, I'm a little bit past the buttons already. And I almost have to use the tip of my finger to activate them. Instead of like if I push right now, it's really hard to get there. I was able to hit it on right there, but that's really difficult with like the side of your finger. I can't get the light on at all. You have to come back here and then get it like this. And I'm sure that smaller hands, you wouldn't have a problem using the tip, but I don't like to have to come backwards to find the light. I like it to be, you know, more where my finger is pushing out right there so I can just come down onto it. And again, I'm sure it's just the size of my hands, but just the switches are a little bit awkward for me. So one of the best parts about this light laser combo is the price. This thing is less than 60 bucks right now on Amazon. I think they're $59.99, and compare it to like the Phoenix, which I know this is a kind of popular brand, a well-known, well-established brand, but this one's like 120 or 130, something like that, with the light laser combo, and it's a similar size. They're real similar to each other. And this Olight here, the Balder Mini, I think it's like 120 or 130, so they're basically double the price of what the Ryflens is. It is pretty unique that you get two different color lasers. I prefer green myself, especially during the daytime. The green definitely picks up easier for me. But there are people who say that like at nighttime that the red is better for them. You know, it all depends on your eyes, but I've never seen one that you can get either or. Because even like the Streamlights, you know, they're like 200, 250 bucks, but I mean, it's a good product, but you have to choose, you know, which color you want. You know, do you want the red laser or do you want the green laser? And this here, you can get both in one device. So yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty sweet little light laser combo. And I think it'd be something good for like a homeowner that wants to put something on like their home defense pistol. I think it'd be a nice addition for something like that. Just keep in mind that it does take some getting used to on those switches. But all right, guys, that's gonna be it on this one. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it.